Hey, and welcome back to Just a Little Bit. Remember, Just a Little Bit is brought to you in part by Destination Sistrunk, Broward County Cultural Division, and Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. If you've been dealing with us for a little while, you know that Just a Little Bit is just that. It's just a little bit of news from the West Side Gazette and other NNPA black newspapers and other black media sources from around the country. One of the most important things that has taken place aside from the coronavirus is the fact of the killing of a black teenager, Quam Bobby Charles. He was the Emmett Till lookalike for lynching. This young man was found dead, hung in Louisiana. And it's 2020, and we're still having lynching of black men and black boys. Also, the question is asked, how did 12% of black men vote for Donald Trump? It's another headline. I guess that would be similar to, is there such thing as the Loch Ness Monster? Why did 12% of black men vote for Donald Trump? Question. Also in the news, this comes from the Final Call. Angry, defiant, and defending President Trump's supporters stage a million mega march on the nation's capital. Mega. Make America great again, huh? How many of us believe that? If you do, I got some swamp land for sale for you. Okay. Trump is refusing to admit defeat. He pushes fundraising, election grievances, but he ignores the need to govern the country. Wow. In some positive news, NBA Hall of Famer Charles Barkley has pledged $1 million to Tuskegee University. All right, Mr. Barkley is known for giving millions of dollars to HBCUs. This is his fifth, donation to an HBCU. Right here locally, one of our own, the Broward Legislative Delegation elects Senator Perry Thurston as chairman. Congratulations, Perry. Now let's see what you're going to do. Now, on a much brighter and positive note, Phi Beta Sigma, an astronaut pilot, he pilots the new spaceship which just landed, or should I say docked, on the International Space Shuttle. Congratulations to the Phi Beta Sigma brother, Victor J. Glover Jr. He made history. And now, that's just a little bit. Welcome back to this segment, 40 on the 40. 40 seconds on the history of faith, strength, and endurance of black people. We implore you to find out more about these historians. This week, we're going to talk about Dr. Charles Richard Drew. Now, we just mentioned in another segment about a Sigma. This is a great Omega man who, through his expertise and his biological astute, was able to develop a way to save blood plasma, which saved the lives of millions of soldiers during World War II. Dr. Charles Drew was born back June the 3rd in 1904. He died April the 1st at the young age of 45. Dr. Charles Drew. Now, some people believe that he died not being allowed to have a blood transfusion. That's not true. Had he had the blood transfusion, he probably would have died sooner. Dr. Charles Drew, a brilliant scientist and a black man. Hello and welcome back to, again, Growing Our Voices. This is a segment of just a little bit where we get a chance to talk to our young people. And on this show, we have the pleasure of talking to a young lady who is interested in the media, journalism, and fine arts and things like that. So if you will, join me in welcoming Miss Sienna Crosby. Sienna, how are you?
I'm good, and you?
I'm terrific and getting better. Tell me a little something about you. What school do you attend?
I attend American Heritage School in Plantation.
Wow, American Heritage. There's a football player from American Heritage. Is in the NFL right about now. Sonny Michel, I think is his name.
There's a couple of them, I think.
y'all got you. Is that right?
Yeah.
Okay, so how do you spend your time at American Heritage?
Well, I'm in WAHS News, which is the announcement or morning announcement network that we have, and we also do short films and everything. I used to do computer programming. I was on the competitive programming team, but then last year I realized that I really wasn't interested in computer science and was more interested in fine arts. So I finished up computer science last year and then changed. Well, we have tracks, which are sort of like majors. So my track originally was computer science, and I switched my track to the fine arts. So I've been doing a lot of that, and today I actually just started cheerleading.
Oh, so today was your first day going out and yelling at people?
Well, it was my first practice.
Okay, how did that go?
It went well. I was a little nervous just because I'm naturally pretty reserved, and this was...
Wait a minute, now hold up. Now you're pretty reserved, and you're in fine arts, and you like the media, and you enjoy film, and you're a little bit reserved? You got to help me understand that.
Well, I mean, I like being behind the camera, and I've never been very good at painting or anything, but I do like to express different things or different images that I see in my mind, and film has been the medium that's been most kind to my ideas.
Wow.
So I really like film.
Okay, so I won't guess, but understanding that you like film, what was it that drew your attention to that? Was it anybody in particular, or something you saw, or how did that happen?
Actually, Pulp Fiction by Quentin Tarantino. That was the movie that set me onto film.
Wow. Kill Bill, and was he a part of?
Yeah.
Okay. So do you have any aspirations? Well, I guess you do. That's why you're in film, of creating your own.
Yeah, I have a couple of screenplays that I'm working on right now. So I'm hoping that either my senior year or once I'm in college, I'll be able to find funding for that and be able to have a studio pick it up so I can actually make the movies.
Okay, so right now you should be looking for some investors.
Yeah.
Okay, so how can a person get in contact with you to talk about, well, with your parents' permission, how to get involved in your film, your beginning of your film production company, if you will?
Well, I'd have to set up a website. Right now it's in very, very early stages. Like I haven't even finished the screenplays, and there's like multiple of them.
You're dreaming.
On.
Keep dreaming.
Yeah.
Don't stop. You know, that's what it's all about. Don't stop. No, you are in the process of doing this. So we have to encourage you to go ahead on and do it. Don't wait. You know, be better than Nike. You know, so okay, what else are you doing?
That's about it, pretty much.
That's enough. That's enough. But I want to step back for a moment. Your interests, again, I go back to the film aspect. You mentioned that weird guy with his thing, what is it?
Quentin Tarantino.
Yeah, he has a very different perspective of presenting. How do you identify with that? I mean, what is it that got you?
Well, me personally, I'd like to produce indie films, and that's a majority white area of the film industry. So it's pretty hard to find black indie directors to follow. I would say Jordan Peele is probably the closest I've found. I mean, he mainly does horror, which I'm not exactly interested in just because my storytelling skills in horror aren't that developed. Like, I'm not great at scaring people with my stories. But I think that Quentin Tarantino matches the style that I'd like to follow the best. And I say that hesitantly because Quentin Tarantino is a bit problematic with his usage of the N-word in his films and all of that. And it's kind of hard to find a producer in the area of the film industry that I'd like to go into who isn't problematic and doesn't have some sort of bias against people of color. But I'd say Quentin Tarantino is probably the best one out there.
Wow, you just took me on educational tour of film, and I am certainly appreciative. Well, Ms. Crosby, we wish you the best, and if there's anything that we can do to lay bricks along your path for you to step on, please don't hesitate. Just give us a call. You might, you never know who we might know.
Thank you, I appreciate that.
And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. Okay?
Really
And if you need somebody to star in one of your films, just
I'll definitely write a role for you.
Thank you very much, Sienna.
Thank you for having me.
Oh, right on. Sienna, can you come back up here, please? Okay. Micheline Jobel, could you come up, please? Now, from Ms. Crosby's last conversation, she was talking about her wanting to get involved with film. Mr. Obel heard the entire conversation. So Mr. Obel said that whenever you're ready to go to college and begin, he has a gift of $5,000 for you.
Oh my gosh.
How much? You said scholarship. Yeah, scholarship. Scholarship. Scholarship,
I
yeah.
don't even know what to say. Thank you so much.
No, see? So
So what we'll do, we'll track your success and you'll be in touch with us. So I have the pleasure of serving as the executive director of Community-Based Connection. And so every now and then we find a special store that's unique and we want to give them a scholarship to do so. So that'll help cover at least your books over a period of 4 years.
Thank you so much.
All right, no problem. Just continue to do great. All right. So congratulations and
Thank you.
hang tight, and I'll share some information with you before you leave. All right.
Okay, thank you so much.
this segment of the show is called Sankofa. This is our Sankofa moment. Sankofa is a Twi word that means from Ghana, means to go back, to get, to fetch, and to bring it forward. So I have the privilege of having as our guest for the Sankofa moment, Mr. Mike Obel. Mr. Obel, what's happening, man?
Thank you, Barbara, for having me, but most importantly, thank you for ushering me in the world of your media, the West Side Gazette. And I can recall when I first launched my nonprofit, Team Saving the Youth at the time. It was your newspaper that gave me my first media exposure. That today, after merging both companies, Community-Based Connection and Team Saving Our Youth, we become one entity. We have poured over $2.3 million of early childhood education.
Wow.
Have helped kept 100 kids out of prison on an annual basis. Have poured over $500,000 into STEM coding and debate. We have also helped reduce the number of kids being removed from home in the 33311 and 13 zip code in Fort Lauderdale. And that have been significantly to really identifying issues in a community and saying, hey, there's more we can do with the line of work we're doing. And as the executive director of Community-Based Connection, I'm happy to do that kind of work. And so I'm accustomed to giving back because naturally my parents are from Haiti, and so I grew up with anything I should say. Bobby, what makes the work I do so important is that I remember, you're taking me back some.
Yeah.
I remember, me and my 4 older brothers and my parents sleeping in the van because they just came over here from another country, Haiti, and it taught me so much about work ethic. My father, who I lost back in 2004, maybe like 3 months before I got married, showed me, son, if you work hard, you don't have to beg. That tomorrow you could be a lender and not a borrower. And so that stood with me. And I watched, we used to have to go to the neighbor house, get a bucket of water, and the 7 of us would shower out of that bucket of water. And so why is that so important to me? Because I realize a lot of the families we impact don't have much. A lot of kids that being removed from homes is because their parents are less fortunate. And so the system have created this cycle of enslaving our people that now, let me just kind of go back. I hope I don't get in trouble.
No.
But when you look at the child welfare system, it's no different what they did to us in slavery, where they would remove the child from the parent They'll sell off the father. They'll keep the mother and the child together. But when you look at the child welfare, so we can stop this if we create a hub in our community. And so literally today, actually, we have secured some funding that's going to help create a hub in our community so we can keep more families together and stop the removal right here in the 33311, where we had the highest removal rate in the nation at one point.
Yeah, man,
We was ranked in the nation. So, you know, from doing juvenile justice system, where we keeping our kids out of the juvenile behind bars, to looking at child welfare. So our whole thing is we believe in creating a holistic approach that's culturally sound and ethnically sound to our community. Because there's this false reality that, well, if a child is African American and one is Haitian, that you can go in their household the same way. And I will argue the fact that you cannot. And so what makes me such a equipped leader is that my experience of growing up in poverty and making out give me the ability to reach back and pull up and not give a hand out.
Man, you just took my whole show. That's great, Mike. I'm telling you, this is it's unbelievable. The way things morph themselves into action. Yeah, Mike. You know, I've seen firsthand of what you do. You know, and tonight's show was evident of your tenacity, your belief, and your willingness to do that. And I commend you for that. You know, and don't stop doing that. Now I want to switch up just a little bit.
Thank you.
I know that this is the Sankofa moment where we reach back and we do. So I want to talk to you about this day specifically, November the 17th, 1911. What does that mean to you?
I remember back in back in 1999, I had a football coach who wore these colors, purple and gold. And he had this brand on his arm, and he had this pin, and he wore it proudly. And he was a stew and always preached academics to us. And I said, hey, you know, what is these colors you're wearing? And he said, it's Omega Psi Phi. And so I said, well, I'm gonna be that one day, because I looked up to him. And his name is Coach Smith, Victor Smith. And so he said, well, if you're gonna be that, then you gotta show me. And so knowing that how his mentality, he always taught us about excuses, the tools of competency or nothing, right? Just build bridges to nowhere. And so when I crossed the burning sands of Omega Psi Phi fraternity, that day, November 17th, means something totally different to me. That's something I feel I get emotional about. You know, I got a line brother, you know, I'm passionate about, but I'm gonna tell you what stuck with me more. The fact that Omega Psi Phi fraternity have 4 cardinal principles that I live by every day, even before I joined the fraternity, which is manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. And so when I think about those 4 principles, I exude that every day. And so even before I joined the fraternity, and so to keep that path going says a lot, and I'm glad that I can pass it now, that kind of baton to young brothers that's coming in the fold, and tell them it's really about giving back to our community. It's really about empowering our people with education, but it's also teaching man to become fathers and become leaders, right? So that boyhood to manhood to fatherhood to leadership is a significant transition in all 4 of those phases. And so we have to be in tune with our community in order to do so. So when I think about that royal purple and old gold, I get excited. You know, I almost want to shout.
Hey, man.
You know, so that's Spring 07 B Delta Ace.
I hear you. I have no problems in that spring of '83. But it's all good, Mike. I do want to spend some more time in talking to you. We got to come back and really delve into your program and the facets of it that I think we need to bring out in the opening. You know, there's some areas that we're not touching. You know, that we need to touch on and we need to speak to. But only certain people can do that. You know, it's much more inviting, much more invigorating when someone who has been there, you know, can show you or tell you or make it plain to you what is transpiring.
Can I just leave with this? I just want to share this because I think it's so critical. Is that we all are in unique positions to bring on change, right? Change can start anywhere. It can start in your backyard. It can start with you just at a red light and you see someone in need and you're giving a lending hand, right? And saying, hey, I can help you find a job, right? And we do that with a lot of the fathers we come across with. Find place employment where they get paid a livable wage. Recently, through my private sector company, Janitorial 5-Star Services, we hired over 35 people right here on the 6 Trunk corridor that lives in this community, paying them a livable wage. And they're spraying, because of COVID, they're cleaning, doing deep cleaning. They are the respond team for our Broward County educational system. So we all have a part to play, but if we remove pride and ego and work collectively together, the sky's the limit, and there's nothing that can stop that.
Okay, man, I'm scared to invite you back on my show, man. You might want to take it over. No, bro. In all honesty, Mike, I commend you for what you're doing, man. And from the first time we talked to now, you haven't changed.
No, sir.
And I appreciate that.
Well, people like you hold me accountable.
Got to.
Thank you, brother.
Thank you, bro. All right. Okay, since this day is so special, we just had to switch up and do something that would be remarkable, and such as today, November 17th, 1911. Tell me a little bit about that, Dr. Gaines.
November 17th, 1911. It's a day that I have celebrated, that we have celebrated for the birth of our great fraternity, the Omega Psi Phi fraternity, 109 years ago. On that day, manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift were adopted as our cardinal principles. And they mean a lot to, it means a lot to a lot of people, but those principles, what makes them important, what ties them together, is the brotherhood that exists amongst those brothers who have become a part of this great fraternity. You can look up just about anything online about any organization. Of course, you'll look and you'll see manhood, scholarship, perseverance, and uplift. But what's important about it, what you can't look up, is the brotherhood that is exuded in wrapping the foundation of who we are together in service to our community. Bobby, when I look at the organization and what it has meant to the community, I look at the brothers who really are at the forefront making it happen. Brothers like yourself, who is the editor to the West Side Gazette and the platform that you provide in service to our community. I look at, oftentimes when there's an organization or anytime there are black folks involved, there's a tendency for things to be going on that the news wants to promote as not being positive or unfavorable. But the Omega Psi Phi fraternity and the Divine Nine organizations, they're an example of black people en masse doing what's good and right for people. I can point to the distinguished members of our organization who really truly make us who we are. A lot of people, they know us for stepping, they know us for having a good time and the barking dogs, but you need to really truly understand who we are. To truly understand who we are, I want you to look at the brothers that we have in service. I look at no further than Fort Lauderdale. We have the commissioner, Brother Robert McKenzie, who sits in service. I look at the city of Lauderhill, the mayor of Lauderhill, Ken Thurston, newly elected commissioners, Lawrence Jalb Martin and Ray Martin, who are city commissioners there, sitting in service to the community. I look at our new public defender, Gordon Weeks. I look at the tremendous principals we have who sit in Broward County school systems, such as Eric Miller and Shedrick Dukes. These are people who are serving our community. And certainly I have to look at Ron Osborne Williams, who serves as the program manager for our fatherhood program. So, our ability to provide services and do things for our community comes through brothers like those. And when I look at our chapter here, Zeta Chi, I look at our signature programs. And our signature programs are there for one reason, to service all facets of the community.
And let me stop right there one second, Doc. What you said, what makes this particular fraternity and the brothers that you mentioned is that umbilical cord of normacy, if you will, not to look down, no, don't create a caste system. The fact that on that Friday night, that rainy, stormy Friday night, 109 years ago, the same fervent fever that burned in the belly of those men still burned today.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and I see you gathering across the street. I see stuff happening over there now.
Yeah, on November 17th, we don't care what day of the week it is. We come out and we celebrate, we acknowledge. So often, and what's interesting about our work is so much of it is done in anonymity that you never hear about. See, people don't really know about our Lamplighters program, where we are developing a pipeline of young men to sit in service to the fraternity. Okay, people don't know about the work we did with our Uplift program, which at the beginning of this pandemic, when challenges were greatest for families, we went out and raised over $5,000 in the span of 72 hours to give out gift cards to buy groceries for families that were struggling at the height of the pandemic.
Bruh, we can go on and on
we
and
can.
on. Now, but I know we're gonna run over time.
Yeah, because I can go.
I know, Dr. Gaines.
Okay.
I called you again. This is a fashion of what brotherhood is. I called you at the last minute, and you didn't hesitate.
Absolutely
and
not.
for that, I'm grateful.
Hey, listen, I'll always take time for you, Bobby, to step across the street.
Bruh, this is what
travel
it's about.
miles.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
This is what it's about.
All right.
I appreciate you, Dr. Gaines.
Hey, man, I appreciate you letting me have an opportunity to once again speak on the brother's behalf.
Absolutely.
Okay?
Absolutely.
Stop by, man.
I'm gonna stick with here and say hello. Welcome back. Now, this part of the Just a Little Bit is our community part, and it's called What's Up, where we talk about things that are going on in the community. Even though we just spoke about some things, this particular segment gives us a chance to really shine the light on individuals and organizations that are doing something. Please join me in welcoming to the stage Mr. Celestine Joseph. Mr. Joseph, I was reading your resume, if you will, and you got quite the resume. To be perfectly honest, when I was reading it, I didn't know it was a person of color. Man, look, your resume is something else, man. Tell me a little bit about that.
Well, one of the things I just want to start off by saying is, I grew up in this community. I've been around in this community for quite some time, and when I think about my time away, because I went away to school and then I came back, and you hear stories about that all the time. How people are coming around, they end up going full circle, and for me, this is something I fell into accidentally, teaching. It wasn't my plan. So I was actually planning on doing other things. I was planning on setting up a studio, heading off to Arkansas, setting up a studio there. And then, I got a phone call from one of my old professors. And, she told me that there was a position open. It was her position. She was leaving it and retiring and thought I would be a good fit for it. I was just finishing up my master's degree. And I said, I'll come on down and I'll check it out. And came on down. I was going to be in town anyway, visiting family and so on. Went on through the school and, ended up with the kids. And once I was there and spent some time there, I was just like, it just felt like home.
Okay, now this school we're talking about, Dillard High School.
We're talking about Dillard High School.
And you grew up right here in this 33311 area, this Sistrunk area.
Yeah. Right here.
Yeah.
So,
and you went away to
Connecticut.
Connecticut.
Yep. I decided I just wanted to get out of Florida and just be somewhere else for a little bit. And it was really to stay out of trouble too, because all this hot weather. You could find some trouble if you need to. But I just wanted to get away, find somewhere else to be, so I could focus on my studies, and that's what it was. So
now,
I went up to the Northeast.
Your studies.
Yeah.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your studies. What is that? What
Okay. Yeah. I went away and I went and got my bachelor's of fine arts in painting. You know, spent 4 years at the University of Hartford in Connecticut. You know, totally foreign place for me. You know, no warm weather, cold weather, gloomy days.
A brother from 6th Street, what up to?
Yeah. And I got to tell you, I was miserable the first 2 years going in and didn't know what I had gotten myself into. But after those 2 years, I realized, you know, that's not why I'm there, you know. And I figured out what my purpose was, and I was watching people just fall off all around me. You know, other brothers just like me who had gone up to, you know, Connecticut, decided they were going to go to school, and, you know, next thing you know, they spent 2 years having a good time partying and, you know, lost their scholarships and they were gone, you know. But I decided to stick it out, found my purpose, dug in, and just, you know, got the 4 years knocked out. Took a year off, you know, worked for a little bit, raised some money, got a scholarship at Yale to do a year of their summer music and art conservatory, and from that grew out another scholarship.
Hold up.
I know you didn't hear that.
No. Come here, man. Tell me that again, Joseph.
I just took a year off and then, you know, worked on, you know, getting a summer scholarship at Yale for a year, and did a whole summer, you know, art and music conservatory with them, and then that grew into my MFA, and they ended up giving me a scholarship at a Chicago school and the University of Pennsylvania, and I decided, well, Chicago's a whole lot colder than Pennsylvania, with, you know, being the Windy City and all, so I decided to head on over to Pennsylvania instead. And that's where I did my 2 years and got my master's in painting there.
Okay. So when a person not knowing that arena, when I hear stuff like you did the conservatory, what's the word?
Conservatory.
Yeah, the conservatory. Yeah. What is that? What is that like, man?
That's basically where, you know, they have all of these musicians that come together and all of these artists that come together, and we're just studying intensely, you know, with master artists who are there at Yale during the, you know, for a period of like maybe 2 to 3 weeks. And it's every day in the studio, just really grinding away and just honing our craft, you know. And everyone that's there is there, you know, the musicians are there, you know, the artists are there, and everyone's just, you know, working with very famous people who are, you know, out there in the art world, you know, helping us to develop our craft for that period of time. And it was intense. You know? So from like morning to night, you know, just creating artwork, you know.
So I'm envisioning these musicians and these artists. I can hear the musicians playing, and I can see the artists painting to the music.
And we just hung out and just, you know, it was just creating. And, you know, that kind of leads into why I'm here tonight, because, you know, with the school, you know, and the students that I work with, we're one of the best schools in the country. You know, Dillard Center for the Arts, Dillard High School. And we're a jewel in this neighborhood. And one of those things that we're trying to do is we're just trying to really just, you know, take what we have in this community and just grow it and build it so people recognize us on the world stage. I mean, I have students that are everywhere all across the country, but, you know, they're doing things in those different communities that they're in now. And, you know, they mention Dillard when they're out there. You know, I talk to them all the time. But, you know, we need to expand what we do, you know, to a place where, you know, people just recognize us wherever we are, whenever, you know, we're presenting, and people just come out to see these students do what they do. Whether it's the music, the dance, the art students, you know, because we have people that come through our facilities and they visit these students and hear them perform and play and create their art and have it on exhibit. But we need more of that. I mean, when we look at schools like Dreyfus up in the north part of Florida, and then we have, you know, the school down in the southern part here, New World, you know, but Dillard, we're right here in the middle of both of those schools. And we're a major player right here in South Florida. And, you know, it's one of those things that, you know, where we need more funding, we need more, you know, partnerships with the school and with the programs at Dillard, be able to expand and grow what we do and make that just explode, you know, worldwide.
Man, so, I am totally blown away. You know, I've seen you literally with your students, so I've seen that passion, and I would dare to say that what you give out you get it back. And I pray that those students are doing the same thing around wherever they are.
Yeah,
You know.
it's one of those things. I mean, when you see kids who are as creative as our black kids, and we have a whole mix of kids. It's not just our black kids. I mean, I'm working with white kids,
Yeah.
Hispanic kids. I mean, whatever comes through that door is what I develop.
Okay.
With those kids in that room, and but it's one of those things that we're in a black community, and that's the obvious part. But we want to highlight everything we do in our programs and building partnerships and, having the community, come out and see us, and having people from outside of our community come out and see us is important. And that's where, the passion for what I do for the students and having them, just be highlighted and exposed to everything that's possible for them is just so major. I mean, it was what was given to me when I was a student coming through school, and I had people that stepped up to the plate, and they put me in the right positions to be able to do some of the things I did. And I know how important that is for just young people in general. And I think we just need more community support. We just need more backing. We need more funding to be able to do all the things that we can get out of these young people, and that's just the critical part. And we have a senior show coming up in December, and that's going to be hosted by, the organizations here and the community here, and we're just trying to get more people out to that. And we usually host this at our campus, but we're trying to move it to new spaces here, and then really have more people come on out and see us here in the community, and have other people come from outside of this community and come in and see these kids also, because these kids are amazing. I mean, just mind-blowing artwork. And if you see some of their stuff, you've seen
I know,
some.
man.
So, you don't realize that these are young teenagers.
Wow. I mean, we have one of your students work on our wall at our building, man. So I've seen it. What can we do, Mr. Joseph? What is it that we can do? How can somebody get in contact with you if they wanted to donate, if they wanted to offer their space, whatever it is they wanted to do? How can they get in contact?
Well, all they would need to do is just contact Dillard Center for the Arts and get in touch with the Magnet Arts program. And we have our artistic director there, Israel Charles. They can reach through to me as well. If they contact the school and just ask for Mr. Joseph, I'm always there. So, and it's easy for anyone to get in touch with us easily, and be able to contact us with any support that they might have.
Now, you mentioned the art show. Tell us a little bit more about that art show.
Yeah, it's going to be hosted right here, actually, at the Destination Six Trunk venue. So, I mean, the kids are going to be hosting a online silent auction, but they're also going to be exhibiting work right here on site in the space. So they're going to have a small installation here, and they're going to have a whole bunch of work online that people can actually come on out, see the work, and it's by appointment here. But online, it's going to be a silent auction, so they can also purchase the work that they're coming through to see. And this actually is money that goes back to those students directly. It helps them with college applications. It helps them with, getting money to support themselves once they get to school, to buy books, supplies, materials, you name it. Anything that could help them with funding their education is, what the senior show is based around. So,
Okay, and what's the dates of that show?
So it's going to be in December 16th, I believe it is. So it's going to be in December, and we're going to have about a whole month there. So from December 16th to like January the 15th, that exhibition will be on display. Okay. So an entire month there. And I can tell you, if anyone's coming out to see it, they're in for a treat, because it's going to be some amazing work from these young people. So.
Okay. That consortium, what was it?
Conservatory.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
I'm not one that is ashamed of not knowing everything.
That's all right.
And it makes it that much more appreciative to have it explained to me, and the fact that you got the students involved, and Mr. Joseph, I'm sure with Miss Grace and the people involved with Destination Sistrunk, it'll be a success.
Oh, no doubt.
Okay, so
no doubt.
whatever we can do to help, just count us in.
Yeah, we're just looking for partnerships, and it's any partnership that helps to grow these kids, support these kids, get their work out there, and give them exposure. Basically, it just helps them to just progress so much further in terms of what they're trying to do, in terms of their own careers, and get off to these schools that they're trying to get to. So
Absolutely.
and that's what it's about. So,
Absolutely. Mr. Joseph, we are certainly grateful for what you're doing, and I am really elated over some of the stuff that you have accomplished, and I know it's by the grace of God that it shall continue. Thank you so very much for joining us for just a little bit.
I really appreciate it. Thank
No,
you.
no, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, y'all. And this is Just a Little Bit. It's brought to you in part by Destination Sis Trunk, Broward County Cultural Division, and Greater Fort Lauderdale Convention and Visitors Bureau. And remember, Sis Trunk is a door to explore your black history, your heritage here in Greater Fort Lauderdale. For more information, check out www.destinationsistrunk.com. And remember, it's all good in the hood.